Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome back to Turn Bark Time. I'm the Turn.
I'm the bark.
We have been here a long time because this is season 7, episode 2. Welcome back to everybody. Hopefully, you're being safe out there from our Washington listeners with all the rain and wind and whatever. Bark, you had a nice little 2 hour late start today.
We didn't quite have a contingency as a district of what happens when the district office doesn't have power.
Scary, scary thought. So power went out of school before we got there, obviously, and then had turned back on. So we lost our announcement system for the day, but we got it back by third period, I think. So,
As they would
but
say in the Middle East, lefetawa, a brisk wind.
ooh, I like that. I like that. You're so cultured, Mark. I don't care what they say about you.
Yeah.
Um, you know you got something. Go ahead.
You got to ignore the static.
Yeah. Oh man. So we have actually some cool stuff to share with you today. We have a good topic, and then we actually looked at our Spotify Wrap uh, as podcasters, and so we have some interesting. Like we'll share some stats with you about our podcast, and know that this would not happen without you guys. So first off, today we're going to talk about a guy. See what I did there? And by the guy we're going to talk about is Guy Fawkes. Okay. So, you need to remember
The 5th of November.
5th of November. Parker, I'll turn it over to you.
So, this is really a continuation of last week's episode. So we talked about Henry VIII, and then we talked eventually about succession and his daughter Elizabeth, who takes over. And now we're jumping into a time period. So Guy Fawkes is important because he's involved with something called the Gunpowder Plot, which is where a group of English Catholics were unhappy with their treatment by the English government. So they decided that they were going to try and blow up Parliament and the king.
Yep.
The king happens to be James the Sixth of Scotland and James the First of England. Same guy, 2 Roman numbers, like a story problem. What numbers do you need? He's the son of Mary, Queen of Scots, who married, I think, a Stuart.
I believe so.
Family name, surname.
Yes.
Like you want to talk like Starks and Lannisters, Game of Thrones.
Yes.
So
James
James,
Charles Stewart. Yep.
yeah. They thought that they were hoping that James would be like mom, because Mary was right. We talked about that. Mary was Catholic. And so they were hoping that he would be more tolerant of Catholicism than Elizabeth was. So it's kind of where things get started. But like he starts off and he's pretty tolerant, but then it kind of, people in England are kind of afraid at court that he's too tolerant. So he kind of ramps it up against the Catholics as he gets going.
Yeah.
To the point where, like, he started off and he was like, I'm not going to murder the Catholics. I'll banish them.
Right. Just send them away.
I'm not going to remove their head. I'm going to remove their whole body from the island, and like push them back up to mainland Europe.
Yeah. Go back.
Get out of town. But then eventually he gets to the point where he passes a law. Well, that's 16. This is in 1603. There's 2 plots. There's a biplot where 2 Catholic priests, William Watson and William Clark, not that William Clark,
Different William Clark,
have a plot where they're going to try and hold the king in the Tower of London and force him to be nicer to Catholics before they'll let him go. Doesn't sound like a great plan.
No, it'll totally work out.
Yeah.
Could never go wrong. Could never go wrong.
And then later that year, another group of people, Lord Cobham, Lord Grey de Wilton, Griffin, Markham, and Walter Raleigh. I mean, like the Walter Raleigh.
Yeah, the Walter Raleigh.
The Walter Raleigh decide that they're going to try and have a like they're going to remove James from the throne and install his cousin Arabella, um, who's the first cousin of Queen Elizabeth twice removed, which I don't know what that means necessarily. It means they're kind of sort of related on her
Yes.
mom's side.
Yeah.
She's from Spain, which means she's from Spain. She's probably,
Catholic.
yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Um, it doesn't go well,
Nope.
but like James being the reasonable ruler that he is, he only executes like one guy and then like forgives everybody else.
Yeah.
And but then like a year later says no more Jesuit priests and like kicks out all the
Right.
Catholic priests and then starts fining um Catholics for not attending Church of England religious ceremonies, which I believe it was 20 pounds a month, and he raised 5,000 pounds, which in today's money is the equivalent of 12 million pounds.
It's crazy to think about too, because if you think about it, like all he's doing, and this might be too far off topic, but he's doing why can I not think of it? Islam does it, where they were like, yep, you can be Jewish, you can be Catholic, but or you can be Jewish, you can be Christian, but we're gonna tax you for it. What do we call that? It is oh shucks. I have to look this up now.
There's a tax. Yes, you can be Christian, and Jews and Christians can be Jews and Christians. They just pay the hijah. I want to say
Yeah, the hijab, Jizaya, a poll tax.
hijah.
Yeah.
See, look, it's in there. It's in there. It's in there.
I know, well, I
Um,
knew we taught it long enough. It should be in there.
yeah, just gotta get it all kicking around.
Yeah, but I
But
mean,
yeah,
like
I
when you
mean,
think about
go
that,
ahead.
it's not, he's not, I mean, it's a lot of money, obviously, but he's not asking, he's just saying, like, hey, like if you're not going to support the state religion, then I'm going to need, because realistically, right, like most churches ask for giving, right, alms. And so he's just saying, like, hey, you're not going to show up. Like, can we get the alms? But this
Well, and
time,
like his mentality was he wasn't going to try and convert the Catholics to
yeah,
Anglicanism.
that never works anyway.
Hey, talk to Spain, man, the Reconquista.
Oh boy,
Um,
here we go.
hang people by their wrists, working their shoulder blades. They'll tell you, let's say whatever they want.
Yep.
Um, but he thought of himself as a moderate, but because
Mhm.
of kind of the increase in repression of the Catholics, like Guy Fawkes is the symbol of the gunpowder plot,
Yes.
despite the fact that he really is just kind of like a side character.
Mhm.
So like long story, like just to kind of it's kind of weird to talk about because like you have to kind of like get to the point where like why is Guy Fawkes the guy?
Yeah.
The plan is they buy a piece of property next to the Parliament building, and then they're going to go down into
There's a
essentially
cellar that's
the
down below it.
the Undercroft.
Yeah. Of
Undercroft.
of Parliament. Yeah.
Yes, and then they start putting barrels of black powder, 36 of them, right? Just a few, just a
Yeah.
few.
That's a few.
Um, and then the idea is at the opening of Parliament in November of 1605, while the king, his family, the Privy Council, the judges, the high judges, um, the Church of England bishops, and Parliament, like both the House of Commons and the House of Lords, will all be in the House. It's similar to
State of the
like
Union.
State of the Union. Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
And Elizabeth, so James has the other problem. Sorry, the other attractive thing about James as the monarch is that when James comes into power, he already has kids. He has a boy named Henry, he has a daughter named Elizabeth, and then he has another boy, like a spare, named Charles. And he's married to Anne of Denmark. So he's already proven because like the problem with Elizabeth is that she was the Virgin Queen. She didn't have any kids. So succession becomes this whole big thing because is it do we pick your sister's kid? Do we pick your a cousin once removed who's closest in like
Yep.
how do we decide who takes over? And so it becomes kind of this big dog and pony show of who do we pick? The plan was they were going to blow up the state opening parliamentary procedure, and at the same time kidnap the 9-year-old daughter Elizabeth
Correct.
so that they could make her the queen, but like a puppet queen,
Yep.
and then the papists could run England.
Yep.
But the problem is, like middle schoolers trying to run a rebellion,
Yeah.
they send notes.
They
And
said no.
eventually,
And one of the
go
things
ahead.
is, well, because there's people there, there are still Catholics in Parliament. And
Yes.
so they're trying to like tell them like, hey, like you don't want to be here that day. Like you got to find yourself indisposed. And I'm trying to read some of the writing. Holy cow. Like I know it's old English, but still. Um, I'm trying to find it. The note. It said, oh, it said, so they sent this on the evening of October 26th. So obviously a couple days before it happens. They said to Lord, I'm going to say it's Monteagle. Is that what you got?
Montego.
Yeah, Monteagle. And he says, he gets an anonymous letter saying to stay away. Retire, spelled Retyre, right? Retire yourself into your Conti, whence thou may expect the event in safety, for thy shall receive a terrible blow this parliament. And so when he gets this, right, um, a lot of the people are like the conspirators, the people who are gonna blow it up, they're like, ah, it's not real. It's not, it's a hoax, right? Like it's not a thing. And so Fox actually goes and checks the gunpowder on October 30th, and it's all still there. So he's like, okay, cool. Um,
And it's
the
been there since like July.
Yeah, which it had to be actually had to be regotten because the first batch they put underneath there is starts to decay when they come back and they're like, yeah, I can't use that gunpowder. Got to get new gunpowder. Um, and but Monteagle actually alerts the king of
And the
his.
king looks at it. And the king looks at it. And the word that really they focus on is receive a great blow.
Yeah.
Because apparently his dad died as a result of somebody like blowing up like 2 kegs of powder under a building that his dad was in, and he died from injuries from that.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, King James the First had a significant fear of like
Getting blown
being
up.
hoisted by a petard.
Yeah.
Um, and so they go down and they check the basements eventually. And like there's even some historians that say that so he employed oh, was it Robert or Roger Cecil? Like he had like a master of spies, if you will.
Yeah.
And some people say that like they essentially
Robert.
Robert
Yeah.
Cecil let it happen, knew that there was the potential for this kind of thing to be going on. And then some people are like, well, did you let it happen so then you would have cause to like kind of like repress the Catholics even more?
Hmm.
Right? It's right up there with like the modern day stuff of like, is it a false flag operation? Because you let them happen. The
Yeah.
actual mastermind behind it is a guy named blah, 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 Robert Catesby.
Yeah.
Um, and like he was involved in a rebellion in 1601 where he was trying to get like more power and like kind of like work against Elizabeth. And Elizabeth kind of like lets him go.
Yeah.
Hey, don't do that.
Yeah. It's bad. Bad Robert Catesby.
Yeah. And so like they've been planning it since May 20th of 1604,
Hmm.
which is pretty much right after James gets like
Ascend or
ascends, yeah, uh enthroned, anointed,
coronated.
coronated. Thank you.
Gotcha.
Um, but the problem is the reason it takes so long is that there was a significant fear of plague. And so like they paused everything and they're like, well, we'll come back later. We'll come back later. We'll come back later. But like they come down and like the king is worried about they obviously read that, oh, like this might be the wrong spot. And so like they search the grounds and they find Guy Fawkes like sitting down there, like looking at 36 barrels of
What is
gunpowder.
he's supposed to be guarding it is like the job. but he's
Yeah,
also he's assumed an identity as well at this point, which like always makes me laugh because it's like I remember reading in college the Return of Martin Guerre. Did you ever have to read that one?
no.
Okay, so the Return of Martin Guerre fast because this is what always makes me think about it is how like it was basically like this guy goes off to war and I think it's the Crusades, right? But he goes off to war and this other dude comes back like it's not Martin Guerre. He comes back, he's like, I'm Martin Guerre. And like his whole like fiefdom is like, it's been a couple years, like maybe. But then he goes to the guy's wife, and the wife's like, I know this is not Martin Guerre, this is not my husband. But her husband was kind of a prick, and this guy's like really nice. And so they're like, there's no ID, there's no way to prove it. So at this point, like Guy Fawkes has been using, he actually has changed his name a couple of times. So he's changed his name to, is it Guido? Is that how I'm saying it?
Uh, Guido.
Yeah, when he goes to Spain, like to try and recruit like Spain to help them with a Catholic like revolution in England or revolt, I guess. Uh, he changed it to Guido Fawkes, but then he assumes the name, I think it's like John Johnson or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's like the worst alias ever.
Yeah, I was like, it's like, who are you? I'm John Johnson.
Well, the first time they come down and they interview him, and he's like, "Oh, I just work here.
Yeah,
I work for," and he gives the name of one of the he says, "I just work for Thomas Percy,"
yeah,
and like, that's his slip up because like Thomas Percy is a known like Catholic agitator, and
right.
like Guy Fawkes is like the least known. He's just like some random soldier.
Well, so he's not known. He was known prior to this, but he's recently been on mainland Europe. He's been fighting for Spain. He's been fighting, against like a Dutch revolution. Like he's like a pro-Catholic guy. And so when he comes back to England, like people do not know who he is, right? Like they have no clue. And so he probably could have gotten away with it, you
Yeah,
know.
and so he just happens to give like the name of somebody else who is known at court. And they're like, oh, well, that guy's up to no good. So they go
Yeah.
back and they re-interview him. And then like they search and he's like, oh, my name is John Johnson. And they're like, let's look in your pockets. And in his pockets, like he has like the long matches that you would use to like light gunpowder barrels.
Powder to make it go boom.
Yeah. Um,
Not looking
and so
good.
at that point, they take him to jail and like he gets tortured. He refuses to give like he doesn't divulge anything.
No. And
And then
and
like
isn't the king like, and I was trying to remember this. It was like he he had admitted like he was gonna blow up the house and like he was like, I'm gonna do this. And King James was actually impressed with him. Like he was like he called him a Roman, he called it that he possessed Roman resolution. And then the line that I loved was the next line was that didn't stop him from torturing him.
yeah. The other conspirators, so this is the reason that Guy Fawkes gets remembers because the rest of the conspirators start like booking it out. They go to, I think it's Warwick Castle.
Yep.
They raid the weapons store. They get powder. They get guns. But the problem is the gunpowder gets damp, and then
Yep.
they end up in some random safe house, and they try and dry the powder out with fire. Doesn't work well. And then like the next morning, it's Richard Walsh, who's the sheriff, and it's got to be like Worcestershire
Yeah.
because it looks like the name of the sauce,
Yeah.
which looks like Worcestershire,
Yeah.
which is
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
Yep.
But the sheriff of Worcestershire shows up with 200 dudes and guns, and pretty much like everybody else who was like so like Catesby, Thomas Winter, John Wright, and like Thomas Percy, who are all like the headliners all end up dying. It's like the shootout at the OK Corral, like
Yeah,
British.
they'd rather go down like that.
Yeah. And so like Guy Fawkes is kind of like the headliner of the people that are left.
Well, he has to be, right? Like you have to have somebody because if you killed them all in the shootout, then it's like, well, there's no punishment for this. Um, so again, he's tortured and they use he says like you can do kind of like what you want to do and everything like that, but they end up using the rack. Barker, we've explained the rack before, haven't we, on one of our
Yeah, we
episodes?
talk about torture.
Yeah.
I mean, like
So,
this is like calling back to that episode, like at the end, because Now, I was
Oh,
reading
do you have
something.
another
Somebody
point?
said that
Sorry.
like the whole purpose, they're supposed to be drawn, hanged, and quartered.
Correct.
So drawn means that you're put essentially on, they describe it as a hurdle. So I'm sure it's some sort of wooden apparati where
Yeah.
you are pretty much just left in your long shirt and then drug upon the street.
Mhm.
And then you're hung, but not to the point that it breaks your neck, just to the point where you can't breathe. Then they
Yep.
drop you down. And then between the hanging and quartering, they
You guys,
castrate you,
okay, I was
poke
like,
a
are you
hole
gonna
in your
actually?
stomach, and pull your entrails out. And then by that point, you're probably almost dead. And then it's the same thing that happens to William Wallace, essentially.
Yeah,
And then they chop your head off and cut your body up into four pieces.
and spread it throughout the kingdom.
Fun fact though, they did exhume the bodies of the guys that died at the shootout,
And
cut their
did
head
it?
off, and put them on spikes.
Oh, did they?
Oh, yes.
Now, see, that's what's supposed to happen, and he's actually, since he is the headliner, like Fox is the guy, the guy they have left. Everybody else gets their execution before him, and he's the last one. But he's been on the rack, and I was reading a little bit more about the rack, just to kind of like have that like in my head. And it obviously like it can dislocate your joints, like your elbows, your hips, your knees, everything. But it also does, if your muscles are stretched for that long, they won't contract anymore. And one of the ways they noticed this was like his signatures. Like they compared like a signature of him before and after the rack, and you can tell like obviously he can barely move his arm because he had to sign his confession. Um, but anyway, he needed help getting up to the scaffolding to like make this work. And so it's not known, but he actually didn't have to deal with all the horrific like ending to it. Whether he climbed up too high or he jumped, he broke his neck on the hanging. And so he didn't have to deal with, like, he didn't have to, like, they still did the stuff to him, but his body, like, he was dead.
He was already
And
dead.
so, yeah. And so it was like, but they still did all the stuff to him and spread his body throughout the kingdom. But
Yeah.
then, this is where it gets interesting, Parker. they King James started encouraging people, okay, or to celebrate, or I guess Londoners, but they started encouraging people to celebrate the escaping of the king's assassination by lighting huge bonfires in on the 5th of November. Um, and then an act of parliament designated that each November was the day of Thanksgiving, and remained in force until 1859. Fox was one of the 13 conspirators, but he is the individual most associated with it. Um, and now in Britain, there's Guy Fawkes Night, or Guy Fawkes Day, or Plot Night, or Bonfire Day. But now it's custom that you have a bonfire with fireworks and you burn somebody in effigy. Did you see some of the people they burn in effigy, Barker?
Well, normally when you burn Guy Fawkes, but whenever you say burn somebody in effigy, I think about like Iran burning like President Bush. But
No, no, no. But I'm saying like in London, do you know like who they
no,
burn? Like, so Guy Fawkes is like one, obviously, but other notable figures that have been found in bonfires are Paul Kruger, Margaret Thatcher, Liz Truss, Rishi Sunak, and Vladimir Putin have been all thrown into the fire on Bonfire Day, which is
interesting
ironic.
that some of those are prime ministers.
Yes. So people
Um,
have also political free speech being executed. So
yeah, Rishi Sunak. That's interesting.
yeah.
Um, Indian prime minister who'd never been to
But I
India.
guess I guess you could look at it as a as like a it's just political protest, right? Like it's getting rid of someone who's bad for England, right?
Could you go as far as to say like it's like burning the flag in America
Ooh, great question.
as an exercise of free speech? I can show my displeasure with the government by burning in effigy
Well, it's
because
interesting because with
that's something that
England,
I think
oh,
that would be considered too far in America.
yeah, I could see it. I think it would survive the Supreme Court.
But I just think culturally,
Yeah, no, culturally you'd still be an ostracized, but the other thing that's interesting about it is with Britain's new free speech laws that they have in place, right? Like so the fact that you can't say whatever you want to say online, you know what I mean? And you can get arrested for it. So now it'd be interesting to see because if that ever happened, does that cross a line, like you said?
yeah.
So,
Bringing it back to more modern iterations, we're both of the right vintage to have seen V for Vendetta, where the titular character, played by Hugo Weaving, right?
mhm. Yeah.
Mr. Anderson, um, wears a Guy Fawkes mask, and
Mhm.
then the online hacktivist group, Anonymous,
Yep. He's
also uses the Guy Fawkes mask, which is a white face. If you look at our title card, I
yeah.
gave little Guy Fawkes
Great
masks.
job, by the way. Can just take a moment to appreciate Barker's title card.
Yeah. And so it's become one of those, even like after V for Vendetta, it's become kind of like a symbol of resistance. Over here, and I saw online somebody's starting to sell frog hats because out of Portland, there's been protests
Oh yeah,
here
the
wearing
frog.
frog suits.
Yeah.
So like it's just really interesting because like you had the Gen X revolution in Madagascar, and their rallying flag was the pirate flag from One Piece.
hmm
So it's
Is
a
that Gen
symbol
X or
from,
Gen? Do you mean Gen Z?
maybe it's Gen Z, my bad.
Yeah, yeah. Gen X
But
would be you. I think. Are you?
I think so. I'm a millennial. I'm an old
Yeah. Okay, you're a
millennial.
millennial. Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
identify as a millennial, but I guess I am one.
Yeah.
They are who we thought they were.
Anyway, let him off the hook.
Yeah. But anyway, like, it's just, it's one of those things where like people still burn him in effigy on, it's either Guy Fawkes Day or Bonfire Night.
Yeah.
And
No.
it kind of like gotten to the point now where it's almost like an excuse to have a party.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Um,
you figure it, right? Like it's so disassociated. It was 1605, right? So 2005 would have been 400 years. So it's been 420 years on November 5th of this year. Like that's come on, that's so long ago.
yeah.
So and it's like,
And
come
it's
on, that
just,
guy got tortured a lot. You have to burn him? Come on.
yeah, I mean, I didn't make the holiday, man. I wasn't the king.
Yeah, I know, I know.
Like I tell kids in class, I'm just telling the story. It's not my opinion. I'm just telling you how it happened.
Yep, it's my job.
Um, yeah, I mean, just so like thinking about it, like you talk about holidays, right? How do you commercialize that? Um,
I don't know how you can.
yeah, you know what I mean? Because
Come
that's
buy a
that's what we're
bundle of wood. Bundle of wood for you.
that's what we're about here in America. I was talking about it with the kids the other day. I go, look, I go, we've got the commercial side of holidays, and I go, there's kind of the other reason for holidays. We've talked about St. Patrick's Day. We've talked about, we haven't talked about Cinco de Mayo, but you know what I mean? Like those, it does show that we've accepted a minority as part of the majority in America.
When we,
And
yeah,
then on the flip side, it's also a good excuse to go out and buy merch
like what you're wearing.
associated. Yeah, yeah. So this is from the World Baseball Classic, I think is what it's from. So rings and crowns, baby.
It all goes together.
So yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna put a bow on it. So if you're like,
Yeah.
we're tired of talking about Britain,
Yeah.
I think we agree. I think we're gonna go to Idaho next week. Um,
Is it
yeah,
Idaho?
I think it was.
I thought it was Canada.
No, I think it's Idaho. Of
Is it Idaho? Okay.
course, dude,
It's
it's
Idaho. It's Idaho. It's gotta
such
be.
an Idaho idea.
That's an Idaho idea. Ooh, 10
So,
minutes left on our program.
okay. So talking about our wrap, I mean, we
Oh
always
yeah, we
say
gotta get these updates. You guys gotta hear these
we
stats.
appreciate our tens of followers.
Yep, we always do.
Um, double check with my, do I have it? I don't have it right now.
So I
So
have to tell you, I get to, can I tell you the first stat? Just that
go ahead.
stat.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
So Barker tells me, you're not gonna believe it, Turner. He goes, we are in the top 60%. Was that or more than
66. 66.
66? We're more than 66%. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So of listened to on Spotify. right? And so we're like, okay, cool. And I was like, I wonder how many podcasts are on Spotify. According to Gemini, so Google's AI system, there are between 6 and 7 millions podcasts on Spotify. And we are in the top. What? Ah, damn it! Dang it! I did the number. What
So
was
that'd
it?
be math. Math would be 34%.
Yeah, we're in the top 34%, which means we are better than I think I said like 4.2 million podcasts. So we're in the top 2.8 million podcasts on Spotify.
We're legit.
Yep.
And you guys, those of you who have rated us on Spotify, we appreciate you because our rating is higher on average than 71% of
Top
those
30%, top 29%.
6, 7 million podcasts. So
So, but we just appreciate you guys, And again, we haven't asked for it. We didn't ask for it last episode, but we'll ask for it if you have anything, we're always looking for new topics to talk about. So, the super excited. Do we want to intro it at all, or do we want to just leave
I,
them get
I,
some
I think we
content?
teased it enough that
Okay, love it.
people are probably going to assume it's about potatoes, but um, maybe it is, maybe it isn't.
No.
My beard, yeah, my mustache doesn't curl like that.
Well, there's a couple people, and it's like if I get it to flare enough, I can kind of get a Guy Fox thing going on. Just a
Yeah,
little
there
like
you
that.
go.
Yeah,
There you
just a
go.
little. But anyway, so just appreciate you listening. We hope you guys are having a good time out there. And we haven't discussed. You might get a surprise drop next week. You might not. Just depends on what Barker and I got going on. Uh, but we'll at least take a break during the holiday season at some point. Spend time with your family, spend time with the people you care about, and just enjoy yourself. Barker, anything else?
Don't drive through water that you can't see the bottom of.
Oh, preach, brother bear, preach. Make good decisions. Just that.
And if the road says it's closed, turn around.
Hashtag highway 2. You're
It's
not supposed to
not
be on
worth it.
it, even walking, biking. So,
Don't
but
be a dunderhead.
yeah, we know it's hard, but don't be one.
Don't be a dunderhead. Now, maybe that's a t-shirt idea. We'll see.
You'll whip something up. All right. Well, that's all we got for tonight. So until next time, I'm the Turn,
I'm the bark.
and we're going to be here a long time. Have a good night, everybody.
Be safe.
And by golly, you just be well.